Yes, we are back with another video. This is one of the best conversations I know you are going to listen to. If you watched the previous one, you saw that this guy, this political scientist, is one of the seasoned, as I used before, he's one of the seasoned political scientists we have here in Ghana. So we are going to continue with the conversation, and today we are focusing much on the IMF.
Any government that goes to IMF has failed. And we haven't failed for the good works that we have done in this country. You should applaud Ken Oforiatta. He's not well, but still, yesterday I heard them in war. All in the name of the country.
And the National Cathedral. But first, I think we have to start with the National Cathedral. Yeah. So, do you really want the National Cathedral to be established here in Ghana?
You see, when we raise some of these topics, it's a matter of religion and politics, because cathedral has to do with the church, and then the government is the one building the cathedral. So, when we raise some of these things, as a Christian, I really see it somehow first from a religious point of view, and then later from a political point of view. But based on this conversation, I want to, set aside these things and really use rationality to think about it. Because as a Christian, yes, I want us to have a church, a bigger auditorium for God. But then again, sometimes the way they communicate about the National Cathedral, that all sort of ceremonies can be held in there, which raises the issue about, okay, can LGBT people have their weddings there? Can Muslims be there? Can traditionalists be there?
I learned they said they will have a place for Muslims traditionalists, but
it's in the same auditorium.
And I remember someone cited this. Jesus said something, is the way, the truth, and the light.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
No one goes to the Father except through me. So if you are building something for Christians, Jesus Christ.
Good. Why do you have exactly? You see the point. So a Muslim might argue from a different point of view that, okay, if you build
for Muslims, they have their own national mosque. So
they have this, but you have some place for them.
For them there. That's what they are saying.
Yes. Okay. Would that place be bigger than where the Christians will hold theirs, and with the traditionalists, would that place be bigger or smaller? So the dynamics here will make issues complicated if you look at it from the religious point of view. But from the political side, you see, Akufo-Addo is the one who promised God that he's going to do it. So if I come here and I promise that I will give you money, right? No one else promised me. So I can't go and force someone to come and give you the money because I'm the one who promised. So if Akufo-Addo made the promise to God, and then God has given him his heart desire, he has to give it to God. Yeah. That is what you told us. And then you told us that no public funds will be used in building the National Cathedral. So Ghanaians were asleep, build it. But now, you come to tell us that you need our money. And you even sanction the finance minister to take money and then give it to them.
In these hard times.
You get it. In this particular time that we are all suffering and complaining. You look at other cathedrals that they are built somewhere. They use the period of time. Maybe some even use 250 years. The smallest cathedral that I think is in Romania also, they use a very small cathedral that hosts about 150 people. They used over 100 years to build that. So sometimes I think about, does Akufo-Addo want to build it during his tenure?
He has like 2
years. 2 years. So he wants to build it during his tenure before he leaves. Okay, if you start the project, can another government come and continue? Because we have the mentality that if one party starts something, another party comes and then they leave it. So he wants to do it during his time. But it's not favorable because Ghana, we don't have money. Now that you are going to, which you are going to talk about the IMF, now that you are going to IMF, if IMF comes in and then IMF tells you that stop, what would you tell IMF that, no, I still want to build it? Because when IMF comes, it tell you to cut your expenses, raise taxes, they will come and tell us waste another tax on us. So some of these issues, when you look at the popular views that is out there, it's about the fact that you did not promise that you build a national cathedral, and then you told us it's not our money you are going to use. So using our money is a no-no. Don't use our money, use your own money.
He has already issued out.
And then another thing is that they tell us they are going to use 250 million, and later on they will change and say 350. Is it that they didn't plan at the beginning? And then there is also the point that the one you gave the contract to was not a licensed architecture.
Wow.
Yeah, yes, in Ghana.
He's
at the
outside,
time, yes,
UK.
at the time you gave the money to, but now he is. But at the time they gave the money to him that used this money to build the cathedral, he was not a licensed guy.
Wow.
So who then sanctioned them to give the money to the person? So all these things, the whole cathedral thing is shrouded in secrecy. There's no transparency. We don't really know the exact things that they want to do. If we know, then we can make full analysis about it, which is why you see most of the trustees saying that they don't want to be part.
Some of the priests,
yes,
in there,
they are saying that they don't want to be part anymore, because tell us the truth. This is what you want to do. Then we know, okay, this is the way you are taking us. Then we can follow you. But if you are not giving us the full gist.
I even saw on this mobile money, like you can contribute through mobile money.
Yes.
Yes, and
yes.
they also went to appeal in some churches, most
Yes.
of the churches. So where are all those funds? I know most people used to give.
I'm telling
and
you,
some people are giving.
If this thing was not too secretive, and Ghanaians would willingly give. I know of Captain Smart who donates like 100 bags of cement like every month or something like that.
Yeah, he said it.
So people are willing to help Akufo-Addo to do it.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to, be doing other things that will contradict everything. If he tells us the truth, we are good to go. People will donate through mobile money. Churches, because the churches in Ghana, if they are saying that they want to put their feet on the ground and build this, can they build it? It's an easy thing for them. But I don't know what the churches are doing, but I know some churches are also trying.
They have most of them have donated.
Yes,
so,
yes, most of them have.
Most.
But as long as you want to use Ghanaian taxpayers' money, we are not going to agree with you on that.
So why then don't you cut, in these hard times, this, why don't they cut expenditures like their salaries, because they have electricity for free, water, vehicles, everything is free. Why don't they cut it so that they can push them to that direction?
Well, these things
or the development of Ghana is not just only that.
These things are personal issues. They have to personally decide, because as long as your salary, let's take it from the lowest point of view. If let's say I am working for a company and the company is struggling, I'm not bothered if the company is struggling. I need my money because I have kids I feed.
Yeah.
So some of these things are personal issues. But as a political person or as a government official, if you know that people, your priority is to the people.
Yeah.
So if you are suffering, you can say that, oh, let's cut part of our salaries and do this. Later on, you can restore your salary back.
Yes.
Right? But as long as they are not bothered, that's what I know. They are not bothered. They don't care. They don't care about people. They don't care about whether we are suffering, whether we don't have food to eat. Our houses are flooded. They don't care. If they really care, they'll say, oh, maybe within this month I won't take salary. Just use it for other things.
Or maybe cut the ex gratia, because
There are some things. That's why in the previous video I said that we are wasteful. We are wasting a lot of money.
They are not developed yet.
The government is too large for a poor country like Ghana. Okay, it's too large. If we are able to cut some expenses and reduce the wastage, we can do some things for the development of the country.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
So what do you think? Should Donaldo pause the project, or should he still continue with the bashing from each? Not only, it's not coming from only NDC, from all over.
Everywhere.
We have NPP guys condemning that. Stop, we don't need this. What should he do? Should he stop or continue?
As I said, I'm a Christian. If God is in the country, I think it's going to benefit.
Is
us.
God going to sleep in there?
That is the point. When you read Acts 14 thereabout, it tells us that God is the one who built heaven and earth, right? And does not dwell in the temple that is built by the hand of man. But it does not also mean that when we have temples, God cannot visit us there, because Solomon did a whole lot of things for God, and then what did God do? God appeared to him and asked him what he wants, and he's going to do it. So having a temple is something that's going to benefit us. Even the finance minister said that we can have other events there to get money for Ghana. But for now, in this current situation that we are in, I think we need to sit back and then analyze things again and see that, okay, at this point in time, it is not right for us to continue.
Okay.
We can still do the project, but we can use a time frame, right? We can use a time frame that, okay, from this time to this time, we will allocate small monies, and then we can build.
If even it's 30 years,
we can still do it. Why are we rushing? Where are we going to? We are not rushing. We are not taking the time.
Maybe he wants to see it before. Maybe.
That is why I said initially, if it's your personal project, then do it personally. If you think it's for Ghanaians and you are doing for us, then let's have a time frame, because whatever project we do in Ghana, we have a time frame for it. If you are building a stadium, you not say you are building it in 1 year. So if you don't have the money, you are still building it. If you don't have the money, you can have a time frame, and then from this time to this time, you set it up. So it's time for us as people or as a government to sit back. This is not the time. We don't have the money. Ghana, we are struggling. We are in debt. We don't have the money. Let's hold on. Let's plan, and then do the things that we can do to help the people first. Right? If the people are poor, how do we scream to God? We are thirsty. We don't have food. Then we want us to come to the auditorium and be screaming. Let the people have the peace and the money they need. And then when we are done,
we give generously.
Yes.
So I know you have heard of the IMF, International Monetary Fund.
Yeah.
Ghana, the current government used to mock the previous government that they sent us to the International Monetary Fund, and it's hurting us. They are not able to employ.
Mentias yesa meti TV so kasa bebre na Ghana ni ewie university onu nya adwuma nye na me ba ewie university Saturday Tuesday no start adwuma. I feel so guilty about this. I feel so guilty. So we should all come together and change the system.
Employ, not decide for themselves. But now it has gone round and it's now on them. They have to go in there. What do you think about that? Is it okay for them to take that decision?
Well, for now, we don't have a choice. I think the way our hands are tied, we don't have a choice. We have to go to them. All those who criticize the NDC for doing that, now they are ashamed.
Yes, all of us.
They are all ashamed. You see, the whole point is that IMF is there. IMF is not forcing you to come to him or to come to her. IMF is there, and then when you need help, you come and then say you need help, and then they'll step in. And then when they step in, they take drastic decisions. They make you take decisions that the people will not like.
Yes.
Because you have to, take people out of their jobs.
Na say Juma asam na yeka new patriotic party programs are ye diegu ho no ebedu baabi no ye be kra nkofo afiama no ne no ma be ye Juma ho Ghana.
You have to cut a whole lot of things that the Ghanaian people are benefiting from. So then again, Ghana, we are going to suffer again because we are already suffering. But if the IMF comes in,
It's going to worsen.
And another thing is that IMF in itself is not an evil entity.
Papa abani person oye man 11 no e ya de bia e ba be boy. There's no doubt about that. So because say 11 ye yenko IMF a wa bodam. Hey, oh, na me kan ye. Na dwene ni ho. Me ka sam no pempe. Ana de nye pemfa. Na dwene ni ho. O se obi obeka say 11 nye papa no. Yenko
IMF no. Na wabodam. I'm telling you, the person is mad.
Only say 2 hash.
And your hash. Pimpe yes in the pay. Ghana ya call IMF 17 times.
It's not an evil institution, but the NPP people made it look like IMF is evil because what they said initially was that, why are you going to the IMF? Come on, you can do other things. You can put in homegrown policies to generate funds for yourself. Why are you going to the IMF?
I think I have some of the videos. I will just insert in.
Yes.
But I can tell you, as my colleague, Deputy Minister said, we are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are dire. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you. Like when Joshua, Caleb, and the 10 others went to spy on the promised land. And only 2 of them came to say that we can do it. And the 10 went around the community murmuring, you can't, da 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 da. We are not people of short sight, you know. And we have to move on. Okay? So let's think of us as who we are, a proud, strong people, the shining star of Africa, and we have the capacity to do what we want to do. If only we can speak that one language and ensure that we burden share in the issues ahead.
Why are you going to IMF and all that? So you tell us this. In our minds as Ghanaians, then IMF is evil because if IMF comes here, we are doomed.
Yeah.
And then I think this reminds me of IK Champon. I think when IK Champon came to power, he was like Yintua. He had this Yintua policy that you going to borrow. As long as you have borrowed, I'm not the one who borrowed. I will not pay. So at the point, he made all the international organizations, reject Ghana. Ghana was like a pariah state, so they didn't want to look at Ghana. But when IK Chapo started suffering, he did a turn around and went back to the same people he was saying that these people will not help us. He went back to the same people again. So whenever someone is doing something, I think you need to analyze the context. If the person is doing the right thing, then why should you blame the person?
I think they did it for.
Yes, it was for a reason. Yeah. If NDC was suffering at that time, then they couldn't do anything about the finance of Ghana. They had to go to them.
Yes.
But you used it as a political tool, and then you were criticizing them because you want to come to power. But now you are facing the same challenge, and now you are going back to the same people you are criticizing, making it look like they are an evil entity. Kennedy Rapon. You see what he said. Now
a lot of them, Nanado himself.
Bawumia.
We have the men.
Now Bawumia is saying that the center cannot hold anymore, so we need them to come and fix the center, because if the center gets loose, all the other parts will fall, and it's falling. It has already fallen. Everything has torn apart. So we need them. They have to come and fix it. Otherwise, because even the E-levy is not generating the revenue that they need.
Yes.
So we need them to come in.
Most of the people are withdrawing from E-levy. And you know one thing, yesterday I was telling my grandma, you've seen what you people have caused, because they are the very voters who brought NPP to power. And still, some people have been polluting their minds, telling them this IMF is not like the previous one. It's not like the NDC one.
It's the same.
And I was
IMF.
like, how?
It's
why?
the same IMF as
Is it because of, I know most of them are grannies and some of our mothers, they are illiterates. But how can you tell me the story?
The same IMF. If IMF comes, whether it's NDC or NPP, they will tell you to set the stage for them to come. So the stage that you are setting is that cut expenditure, remove some people, unemploy them, and just get them away from where they are, because you can't pay them. And then they will tell you, begin to raise taxes. So when IMF comes, whether you are NPP or NDC, you do all these things. You do them. So it's not NDC, IMF, and then now we have NPP, IMF. No, they are the same. The entity has not changed.
It will never change.
Yeah.
Unless maybe the government decides to build itself and ignore the IMF.
Yes. But how do we rebuild? Now they don't have plan. They don't have anything to do.
They have a lot of promises they have not delivered.
Yes, I don't think they have a strategy. If they had, they wouldn't go to IMF.
Yeah.
Because at first they were thinking of e-levy, and Ghanaians said that e-levy, they are not okay with e-levy because they couldn't pay that extra tax because they're already paying taxes that so bringing e-levy will only break their necks. So most of them decided that we won't do mobile money again. We'll find another way of doing it, and they are actually doing that. That's why you are not getting the revenue. And Gabi Ochidaku even admitted that indeed we are not receiving.
But at first I learned they said they got some $1 million in the first day or something. Like 1 million cedis or something.
They said that.
I forgot
They said that. But one thing we need to understand is that I think one prominent guy said that if you want to know actual lies, I've forgotten the actual code, but it's about the fact that data is one of the major lies you can even see anywhere. Data. Because if you see data, if I tell you right now that there are 3% Ghanaians who get pregnant every day. If I just say that without quoting anything, won't you believe?
Yeah.
Because it's statistics, 3%, whatever. So statistics can lie. If people tell you they generated 1 million, well, maybe it's for political reasons, but now they are admitting that they are not getting the money. So were they true then? See, so the fact that you are generating money and it's not working means that you are going to look for another means, and that means is IMF.
May God help our homeland Ghana and make the nation great and strong, as we always say.
Amen.
Yeah, for that one, Charlie. So I thank you for coming here once again. I know you have a lot of ideas, a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
That anytime that we come to you, you'll be here
I'll be here.
to deliver to.
I'll be here.
Yeah, thank you very much for this.
You're welcome, bro.
Thank you for also watching. We have a lot for you, so stick and stay, and we will deliver as promised. We are not politicians, as
we are not. We are not politicians.
So just stay tuned and we will deliver. Bye.